All right, guys, let's talk about food plots. Food plots are another great tool to have and part of your management strategies, part of your overall habitat plan. Uh, but they're more or less just a part of the big picture. Like I said, your native vegetation, that rules the roost. That's the backbone of your nutrition. So you should definitely consider managing that aspect of your property first. And you're going to see great benefits then with your food plots. And a food plot can provide anywhere from 2,000 to 10,000 pounds of forage per acre. So yes, you have the ability to provide a lot more forage per acre than you can in your timber. But like I said, most of our properties are more consistent of timber than they are food plots. Um, and your food plots, that is all based on conditions, how your soil conditions are, how Mother Nature is. If you get rain, if you get the proper conditions for that seed to establish and grow, uh, as far as your soil pH and how much fertilizer and lime and everything you need to do, the steps you need to take. Uh, the biggest thing with food plots, the two most important things is location and how you go about establishing that food plot and how you maintain it. So many guys are more focused on what to plant when I think those two things are way more important than what it is you're going to be planning, what it is you're going to be trying to establish. Because one, for location, some varieties of seed do better in certain locations than other locations. And some things adapt better to, well-drained soils. Some things adapt better to uh, more sun, more shade tolerant, just all those different factors. And plus, with your location, you want to consider that food plot in relation to your bedding areas on your property, in relation to the deer's travel corridors, how the deer are going to approach that food plot. Um, you you don't want to just improve your property and help the deer out with their health, which that's great. It's a great thing to do, but if you're a hunter, you want to consider how can you make these improvements work to your advantage for your hunting success as well. So location of those food plots is key. And then two, like I said, how you go about establishing that food plot and how you maintain it, I think is a lot more important than what it is you're going to be planting. Um, amending your soil, I can't stress that enough, is so critical in having a good, successful food plot. You need to go out, you need to take a soil test, you need to see where your pH is, you need to see uh, what you're working with, and that'll help you in deciding what it is you can plant. Because certain things need a very high pH, certain things can adapt to, not so good soils, and so that'll help you with choosing what to plant as well. And then it'll help what you're planting be more nutritious to the deer, be providing more nutrients, be providing all those benefits that you can provide when you amend your soil. Take the time to amend your soil. And then as far as weed control and herbiciding and everything, maintaining that food plot is key as well. If you got a perennial plot, say a clover plot, it's so critical to, when you're establishing that food plot, to maintain the weeds and the weed competition, because those weeds could take over and choke out your food plot, and your clover is not going to produce like it can produce. And you keep those weeds down and keep those maintained, you're going to have a much better finished product. So that is my feeling on food plots. And another thing, I think your food plots should be a part of your management strategy in those two stressful times a year, late summer and late winter. Late summer, when all the native forbs and the native vegetation, like I said, is 70% of deer's diet. That's what they're hammering in those growing months. And not saying they're not going to eat your food plots that time of year, or they don't hit crop fields or those other things, but that's what they're focusing on. And at that time of year, those plants are getting less palatable. They're losing the green up. They're getting to make that transition back into the dormant season and everything. So that's a stressful time of year for deer, because those plants, those high quality, highly nutritious native vegetation plants are going away. And then late winter is another key time when all that native browse and everything has been pretty much picked clean. Your crop fields around your egg fields are been harvested, and they've been picked clean. So if you could provide your food plots to work around those two stressful periods of time, for example, say some standing beans in the late season when all those other crops are gone, or anything like that. A good clover field. I've seen clover provide food for deer most all the year. Yes, it goes dormant, but I've seen deer still browse on that clover during the winter times, and it's the first thing to green up. So just consider all those things, the two key stressful times, and work your food plots to work around those two different times a year. And don't neglect your timber. Like I said, you want to manage that, and that'll only benefit your food plots and how your food plots can be more successful for you.